There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything.
That power that can make a way out of no way.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
Welcome to the main event.
Welcome, everybody, to the Prayer Revolution, our daily prayer podcast. We're glad that you're here. My name is Doyal. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Vira. And every morning we say a prayer, and then we discuss bringing the mood of prayer in our daily life and how we can live a life of connection through the practice of prayer on a regular basis. And so we're grateful that you guys are all tuning in. I'm live here in New York. Vira is tuning in from Alachua, Florida. We've got people tuning in live on Instagram Live through the Bhakti Center. We also have a live Zoom group here that chats with us and smiles at us, shows us their cats and their dogs. And we're glad that they're here too. And if you're listening on any of our recorded platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, we're happy to see you and have you with us as well. Oh, there's Vivi's beautiful cat all the way from Zurich. Oh, she's a cute little angel pie. Dr. Louis on our Zoom group, he's got an own camera for his dog. Dr. Louis's got 2 snuggle pit bulls, and they're cutie pies. And I have a dog here roaming around my apartment also that yesterday I had to take a break for. My wife has been in New Jersey for the last week and a half, really. She went on her own and took the dog with her last week. And it was just me alone in the house for a week, which was kind of nice. You know, we both kind of regrounded and like got into routines. I was doing yoga every day. And then she came back to get more dog food. And I was like, hey, I don't want to be away from the dog for 2 weeks. And so she left him with me. And then she went back out to Jersey just because it's like kind of like a nature retreat for her. She lives with her parents, stays with her parents, and just getting out of the apartment. She's been cooped up here. But I kind of like being at home. So it's just been me and the dog for like 3 days, which is a lot because he needs to go out like 6-7 times a day. And he needs constant attention and affection, like constant. Like if he's not sleeping, he wants to know what you're doing and he's there with you. You know, I'll go in to use the bathroom and take a shower and I'll open the door and he'll just be sitting right there outside the door.
So, he loves you. He's your pup.
He may roam in here and you may see me distracted at some point, but so we are a pet-friendly podcast and we welcome all species of life, whether they be cats, dogs, iguanas, fish, whatever you have in your home, they're welcome here.
Even your plants.
Plants, especially plants. Yeah. So how are you doing this morning, Vera? You got any plants in your office?
I'm grateful. You know what? I just brought a bamboo that was struggling a little bit. It was kind of neglected in the property that I'm at right now. So I've been bringing him back to life, but I'm keeping him outside right now because I think he'll and then I'll bring him in after a while.
You have a bamboo shelter. It sounds like you have like an orphanage. Like he was struggling a little bit, going through a rough time. His previous owner didn't treat him right. I took him in, gave him shelter. Oh, who is it? It's a bamboo plant. Oh, cool.
Yes.
Vera is a patron saint of plants at the Bhakti Center. When we would have plants, he'd walk in and he'd be like, "Who's watering these plants?" And he's always you're always looking out for the plants. Oh, there goes my dog. Yep, knock something over. We're good. Keep it rolling.
Everything's going all right here. It's all under control. Doyle's headphones get ripped in half, and you see him growling pit bull.
I have a big umbrella light that I use sometimes for podcasting. Just knock it over. Okay, now he's barking it. Take it over, Vera. Take it away.
Super grateful to be with you guys. And I yesterday I was saying I come every day, definitely to be with you guys for sure. And even more than that, one step before coming for you guys, I come for myself, and that's the reality. I come for my own purification. This is a practice that is deeply meaningful and has been transformative for my own life. And so it's selfish that I'm here each day. I need it. And so I really, really appreciate the opportunity to have the collective accountability and the shared space to be able for me to be able to continue to grow and connect spiritually. And so it's all about me. Just wanted you guys to know that. And then next it's about you, I wanted to give a little shout out also to Patricia, who just lost a dear loved one and is joining us on Zoom. She lost a family member, a horse family member, and and it sounds like it was quite a journey, an amazing journey of a lot of love, a lot of exchange taking place between this beautiful being and her family and friends, and just recently, just a couple days ago, I believe, left their body, or left his body. Yeah. So grateful to be with you guys today. Let's take a moment to pause. Let's take a moment to pause in our day, in our night, wherever we're at right now, and to connect to our breath, to connect to the present moment. There's so many things that will come in our life, like we're in a river and we're floating downstream. There's so many things that will come in our river journey of life without us having to do anything. And so just knowing all those things that you're going to do, they're all coming. They will all be there. Just pausing for a moment, connecting to your breath and connecting to an intention. What is it that you're committed to bringing into your life today? What is it that you are committed to bringing into your life right now? And as you feel you have that clear intention, just say it internally. Say it in your heart. Say it internally in your mind. And we use this prayer to water the seed of that intention, to see it flower and blossom in our day today and in our life in general. My dear Lord, we think we have so much time in this life. We think that those things that are so important to us, our visions and our dreams, those relationships, those people, those ways of living, the purpose that we're seeking in our life, we think that it can all come one day, down the road. We've got so much time. We can focus on that person. We can, remend that relationship, or we can forgive that person. We could do that later. That's somewhere down the road we can do that. Somehow we think that this life, this form that you've given us in these bodies will last forever. And it allows us to procrastinate. It allows us to push back the things that are truly most important in our life. And we're asking you today, help give us urgency. Help us to see that the moments of time that we have in this life, they're not guaranteed for any of us, for anyone that we love, our own selves. We have no idea how many breaths we still have to breathe. Give us the urgency to be able to put you first in our life, to be able to start living the life that we dream of right now, to no longer wait and procrastinate and push it off to the future, and to live today like we're going to die tomorrow, to love, to serve, to be grateful today, to forgive today like it's our last day on this planet. And to be able to sustain that, if we're to live for many more days, many more years in this body, to be able to sustain that consciousness every single day, taking advantage of all the opportunities we have to grow, to awaken ourselves spiritually, and to live the life that we dream of right now. Whatever that may look like for us individually, please give us that sense of urgency. Please take away that veil, that illusory veil, that although we see death around us constantly, that somehow or other we think that we're going to live forever. In a healthy way, not with fear in our heart, but in a healthy way. Help us to see the temporary nature of this body, of this form that we're in. Help us to remember that we are eternal souls and that we are servants of you, and we're meant to live our life in service to every person we come into contact with. The sentient beings, humans, animals, plants, all the species of this world. We're meant to live our life treading lightly in service of everyone. Help us to remember that, and help us today to feel that urgency to give ourselves fully to the life we believe in living, to invoke those qualities of being right now. We call out your names every single day. We call out to connect to your power, to connect to your grace. That it said in the Vedic teachings that you and your name is non-different. You have unlimited names. And there's so many different forms that we can recognize you in. And help us to connect to the names that we chant today in this great Maha Mantra. Help us to connect to that energy source. Not just in this mantra today, not just right now, but throughout our day, throughout our life. Help us to tap into that energy source. And as we awaken our soul, to give ourselves fully right now to life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Thank you, Vira.
Thank you, bud. Thank you for your love. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for coming and praying with us every single day.
How's your heart doing?
My heart's doing good. You know, it's we were talking about it in the lifestyle training course I was conducting yesterday. We have such an amazing group of just like every person is just like an empowered servant, you know, that is breaking through in their own ways to living the life that they dream of. And that witnessing that and seeing that and being in that space, you know, we were talking about conscious intention yesterday. And you know, there's a way of living in life that is empowering and beautiful, where we really just kind of open up to you know, whatever is going to happen, whatever the flow of life is, we just kind of surrender to that and we just kind of go with that, right? And that's beautiful, and that there's always a time and a space to be able to surrender and really be in that consciousness, to let go and to let God, you know, to be able to see that and recognize that. And at the same time, I was coming into the office this morning, I was like, what's my intention? What is my intention? Yeah, yes, I'm going with the flow. I'm showing up, you know, let me surrender. Let me know that, okay, I'm an instrument. There's this component of life where I'm in a river and I'm just throwing my arms up and I'm floating down the river, and I'm trusting, you know, that what's coming in my life is happening for a reason. And then there's this energy that we can bring to life of conscious intention. You know, why is it, you know, why is it that you serve the Bhakti Center? You know, why does Vivi have a little kitty? Why do we do the work that we do? Why do we spend time with the people we spend time with? Why do I sit down and meditate every day? What is underneath that? That's where the energy is, right? That's where instead of just completely being surrendered, that's where we create a current, right? We create a current and a focus where God's energy and our spiritual energy and our intention can flow, you know. And so these two components, you know, to be able to surrender to life, and really what I was, you know, meditating on today is like, where are we directing our energy? Where are we directing our energy? Where are we creating intention with the life that we want to live day in and day out? You know, we've all had the insights, we've all had the feelings inside of our heart of the life that we want to live. We've had those feelings inside of our heart. And until that's aligned, until that's in integrity with our higher power, and really in integrity with the psychophysical nature that we've been given in this life, right? We've been given a certain psychology, we've been given a certain body, we've been given a certain purpose on this planet, each and every one of us. Until we've come clear what that is and we're directing our energy toward that, there's a feeling inside of our heart. We feel unfulfilled, you know? And yes, surrendering is a massive component of that. It's always going to come in to be able to surrender to what is and see it as a benefic energy. Whatever is happening in our life, to be able to see it as a benefic energy that's helping us to continue to awaken and to transform. And then at the same time, where are we focusing our energy? You know, and why? What is the intention behind it? And when we commit to that intention, that spiritual intention, that connection with a higher power, that connection with our higher purpose, when we connect to that, it's super empowering. It has an empowering effect. It activates all of our energies. And I know it's like I'm walking in and it's a warm, humid day, which is kind of that's the summer, that's like Florida summer equals hot humidity, 250% humidity. And I'm walking and I'm like, woo, all right. I'm like walking through, it's like thick, and I'm like, yeah, that's like my consciousness can be like that, like thick, dull, It's like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Why am I doing what I'm doing? And why am I on this prayer revolution? Why? Like, I demand myself to know, I demand myself to have clarity of that so that I could really commit to it. If why I'm doing it is connected and aligned with higher purpose, it has tremendous value, and I'm connecting with that, then I can give myself fully to it. But if I'm not clear about that, and I'm just letting my dull consciousness, show up to prayer revolution, man, I'm missing out on I'm missing out on everything. I'm missing out on everything. It's like the river, the stream, the current of energy is there, and I'm standing on the sideline. I'm standing on the shore, not actually, submerging myself and getting into that energy that's available, that can help to direct and guide and bring so much meaning and purpose into what I'm doing. So that is, and what I think can set us into that complacency is the idea that we just have this unlimited amount of time. The idea that it's like, we're just pushing off that experience of higher consciousness. And so that's something that meditating on death is, I feel like, it's such a powerful practice. It's not morbid. To the contrary, it's like, it allows for us to actually fully live our life. If we know that in this chapter, in these bodies, like there's a certain experience that's here to help us to evolve spiritually. If we're looking at that as a premise, and we're looking at that as a foundation of our life, and that is the experience that can be had, we can derive the greatest meaning from life. We're seeing it like that. We can bring our energy. We're seeing that this chapter right now, I have the most incredible lessons to learn that will awaken myself fully spiritually. I'm really approaching life in that way. Every relationship is bringing that. My work is bringing that. The exchanges I have, my mental state, it's all bringing those opportunities for transformation and growth. And I'm really approaching it with that clarity and with that intention. Meditating on death, meditating on the finite, element of this chapter of this experience of life helps to activate that energy fully. Helps us to show up to our life fully. And I'm calling that out. I'm calling that, that intention into my own life. And that is, really, why do I come here? Why am I on the prayer revolution with you guys? Because I want to awaken myself spiritually. The power of prayer, I believe in it. And I know, and I'm praying with community, when I'm praying with you guys, it takes it to a whole nother level. I need that accountability. I need that community. Otherwise, I'll half-ass it. I'll be in that thicker consciousness and miss out, right? But when I'm with you guys, I just feel like, no, like let me give myself fully. So,
yeah, you guys are keeping us accountable.
Mm-hmm.
We need it as much as anybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are
Mm-hmm.
saying absolutely with you 100%. Art this painting, search within, the answers are there. Sukhanti Garangi, power of prayer, power of community. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and Damodar, we've been going into the lifestyle practices together, taking stock and refining our clarity to step into the right current, bringing us toward our service. It's beautiful, and that's something that it's been a practice of mine for years, is to stop, to pause, and to take inventory. And something Doyle is, recommending for us to do as an organization right now, and something that one of our mentors, Vaisheshika, we really resonated. We were having a meeting about that for the Bhakti Center, really resonating with that principle. Pause, pause and take inventory. pause and assess, where's a space, all of us today, where's a space where we're pausing and we're assessing our life and we're seeing actually, am I showing up with intention? Am I showing up with intention in a way which is really actually bringing the best out of me, and I'm bringing the best that I can to my life?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pause and assess and reflect, and that's prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's beautiful. You're mentioning a little bit about like, where am I putting energy into my life? And how has that reflection been for you? I mean, when you pause and think about the areas you want to put energy and reflection, energy into your life, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I guess personally, and then generally also is that it's different. We've touched on this before. It's different for different life phases. It's different for different times of life. There are the general habits, that we form in our life that we want to see. We want to feel that connection spiritually every single day. We want to live a healthy lifestyle. We want to invest in the relationships where we really feel, the opportunity to serve another in their personal growth. And we feel that, we grow when we're with those individuals. There are different things in our life. We want to invest in our service steadily each day. There are things we want to do holistically, like have a synthesis of our life and all the major areas of our life, have that synthesis. And then also, there's always something that's most important. There's always something in our life that's most important. And that is, in this moment right now, what's most important? Right this moment right now. If I'm on a podcast and I'm here, what's most important for me? Show up 100%. Show up. Give myself fully to it. If I'm a listener and I'm hearing Doyal share, I'm hearing you guys share, I'm reading your message, listen with rapt attention, listen with full focus. That's what's most important in this moment, and what's most important in this day for all of us. What's most important today? There's something that is more important than anything else in your life to put energy toward today. And that more than anybody. That it takes the time to pause and assess it. And also, sometimes it takes, a friend or somebody where we can bounce it off of and help to gain that clarity. But we know that. That's in our hearts. It's the feeling inside of our heart. It's that feeling that never feel quite satisfied unless we're focused on that most important thing in our life. Never quite feel satisfied. Something's a little bit off, And then when we're able to refocus, pause, assess, and okay, I've been neglecting my relationship with God. I've been just kind of skimming through my relationship with God, my meditation, and skimming through it, or I've been neglecting, a relationship that's really, really vital for fulfillment in my life. I've been neglecting that. We know what those things are. I've been neglecting my health. I'm feeling lethargic and feel like I don't have the energy to really bring, my mental energy and my physical energy to life each day. We know what those things are. When we just go into a little bit of a internal assessment, taking inventory, we know what those things are. And, and for me right now, what is it personally for me is, you got to come and join the lifestyle training, and I'll tell you guys.
When's the next one?
I'm not sure. Doyle, you could tell me. I mean, we got a great group going right now for a couple more weeks, and then we could take it from there. Maybe in another month or so. Yeah. Give some time for people to check it out and sign up for it. But we talk about that in detail. We all open up, and more we kind of share that. We reveal. We look at our schedules. We talk about that, and more. We're getting into that space where we're sharing more of it. And for me, generally, my values, the way that they're aligned, is that spiritual life is most important. And then from that, relationships. This is general, and then there's specific focuses for specific times. Spiritual life is the most important thing in my life, because I know if I'm not connected spiritually, the rest of life turns into a shit show. I'm not connected spiritually. If I'm not connected to a higher power, man, I start to suffer and I start to struggle. I feel so disconnected. I feel so alone. When I'm connecting spiritually, when I'm waking up and I'm connecting to God first thing in the morning, connecting to myself, the nature of my soul, I bring that into my life and I feel transformation. Relationships are next. If I neglect relationships in my life, I feel it the most. That's what's going to keep me up at night. And then my physical health and my mental health. What am I doing to stay in the right mindset? What am I doing to create peak energy in my life? And if I'm neglecting that over time, then it starts to affect, I'm not able to stay awake when I'm meditating. I'm not able to, give my energy as much to my service in different areas of my life. And then from there, then it's purpose, and we look at it like the tree of life, so I did it inverted right now, where the roots are our spiritual life, the trunk is our relationships and our health, and the crown of the tree is the purpose of life, to be able to nourish ourselves spiritually, have the right support in our relationships and our health, so that we can see our purpose begin to blossom and flourish in our life. So that's how I look at it. And I try to assess it, anytime I feel disconnected, I just sit down, I just make a little mind map of those areas in my life. Finances come into that, of course, as well. And I look at those areas in my life, and I just jot it down and say, what's important for me in these areas, and what am I neglecting? What am I not putting energy toward? And it'll be an indicator of where I need to refocus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how to do something scary? You want to know how to give yourself a heart attack from time to time? Is get one of those apps, or I think iPhones do it naturally. Just that track your screen time every day on your phone. You ever do that? Ever get those notifications? You're probably not on it that often, Vera, but it's like, you spent this many hours. Your average last week was this many hours on your phone, and you're like, oh my God, I should be getting paid for this. You know what I mean? It's like, I was like, I didn't know there were that many hours in a day. I don't even think I was awake that many hours last week. Oh my God. They tracked it. You're on your phone for 7 hours per day last week. They're like, oh my God.
Totally. Yeah, we're doing an assessment right now of it. It's something, I would encourage all you guys to check it out. Monitor in 30-minute intervals, whether you do it on a piece of paper or you do it digitally, whatever it is, at 30-minute intervals. How do you spend your time? And throughout your day, just note it. Just keep something where you're noting it. How do you spend your time? And then just look at it at the end of the week and just ask yourself, are you fulfilled with how you're spending your time? And if you are, great. What is it you want to keep doing? And if you're not, then what do you want to change? And just that little conscious, it literally doesn't take more than 5 minutes, probably 5 to 10 minutes maximum. If you're doing it in real time, to keep a time journal over your whole week, it'll take you 5 to 10 minutes, right? Take you 5 to 10 minutes to monitor it. And then at the end of your week, you just spend another 5 or 10 minutes just looking at it. What stands out to you? And if we're doing that, if we're in that kind of reflective cyclic process, we'll keep on refining it, keep on bringing greater meaning. All right, we got some stuff. It's flowing.
Brian said, once I started checking out that app, I stopped using my phone so much. And then AJ's like, once I started using that app, I turned it off. Laura said there are alerts you can set for yourself on the app. It's like this big, like, bah, bah. Like once they should have it like for serious goers. We have like those electric collars, like once you go over certain hours usage a day, like bzz, like you get like zapped. Like once you exceed like 7 hours in a day of screen time, it's just like, listen, buddy, you need like electric shock therapy. You are going too much.
Shock you back into gear.
Shock you back into gear. Like, oh my God! Because I think so much of it is unintentional. You know what I mean? It's not. Nobody says, okay, I'm going to go spend 7 hours on my phone today, because it's whether there's emails or you're watching a show or you're checking social media or you're texting, like whatever it is. It's just a combination of things. It's just like it's such a formula for just like unconsciously leaking our time. And it's like it's never, you never plan to do that much, but it's always just like, oh, because it's kind of, there's like this like reading books. They say that if a book has more chapters but shorter chapters, you're likely to finish it sooner than if it has less chapters but longer chapters. Because you always feel like, or sometimes you read a book and the chapters have sections in them sometimes, because you always think like, oh, let me just check this. I'm just going to read a couple more pages. This section's almost over. Let me finish this section. And you say, oh, the next section's only 2 pages. Let me read that. And you just kind of like, you don't plan to read for an hour, but you kind of end up reading an hour in like 2 to 3 page intervals, And so I think, the phone, the internet works the same way. It's like, well, let me just see if anybody liked my post. And like, oh, okay, this person made a comment. And like, oh, this thing popped up and let me check this. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and then you just kind of like, you go through this process of just checking everything. And it's like, there you are 2 hours later, sitting with an empty pint of ice cream, moaning over yourself, saying, "What did I just do?" So, or is that just me? I don't know.
AJ, yeah, no, AJ sharing on it, it's wild how much mindless muscle memory is, when he opens his phone, like I click around without even thinking about it. My wife's been getting on my case about it, right? It's like, it is, right? It is, it becomes like muscle memory. We become conditioned to getting that boost, that chemical release, from whatever it is on our phone, a text message or the comments on our social media pages. And what we're talking about today, and we're just looking at that, and is that's fine. Like none of those things are wrong, to check our text messages and to respond to emails. And if we have active social media life, none of those things are wrong. It's just when they're unintentional that they're draining.
Exactly.
When they're unintentional, then we feel, yeah, it really is. It's like, what did I just do? Like what just happened? Like what's going on? Who's in control here? Like I'm definitely not driving the ship. Someone else is driving the ship. And that's, we're putting that energy towards shifting that, because it is through an intentional life. It is through having clarity and through acting on that clarity that we feel fulfilled. We genuinely feel that fulfillment.
And you know what? It's designed that way. They design it that way. It's intentional. When you scroll social media, it has the same psychological and chemical effect on your brain that a slot machine does.
Amazing.
There's ways that there's different types of stimulus and reward system. There's different ways that the brain functions to get you to keep coming back to something. And the slot machine is the most addictive because it seems somewhat there's no sense of the brain naturally wants to think, if I do something a certain way, I get a reward, right?
Yeah.
So we learn tricks of how to get things. But like a slot machine, there's no technique to it. You just pull it every time, the same thing, and then you just hope for a certain result, but it's totally random. And so when we check emails and we go through even it's so sinister. Even the way that you receive your likes is calculated. It's not that once somebody likes something that you receive it right away.
Groups.
They come in groups and ways to release dopamine in your brain. So it's all designed to keep you there. They're doing it on purpose.
What's amazing is and with that, I love it, right? Okay, yes, there's a slot machine strategy behind it. And do you guys know what the most valuable thing in your life is?
Money.
Nope. More than money. Yeah, more valuable than money. What's the most valuable thing? I see it. Yeah, okay, you got it, Aditi. Your time. Your time is the most valuable thing in your life. The most value. No person on the planet can buy back one moment of time. With all of the armies, with all of the power, with all of the money, with all of the gold, with all of the beauty, not one moment of time can be bought back. Right? And so how we use our time, that investment of how we use our time, that is the investment that creates our future life.
Yeah. And we even have language around it. Our time is calculated in our attention. I pay attention. I give you my attention. We use attention like a commodity.
Yeah, totally.
And so just trying to where my eyeballs are pointing, where my mind is focusing. So anyways, guys, follow me on Instagram, Doyal Yoga on Instagram, and like my posts and watch my stories, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay.
I'll see you on Instagram. If anybody sees me on Instagram, tell me to stop.
Okay. Yeah, let's take the opportunity, taking inventory of our time. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on it and make it more intentional.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's not a thing to judge ourselves or to feel guilty about how we're spending our time. It's a constructive, intentional practice to be able to look at it and say, wow, all right.
It's like walking into a room you're not supposed to be there or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like walking down what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Neither of us should be here right now. We're going to go into another room.
Go into another room and go on Instagram in there. Awesome, Bubba. Yeah.
It's like two people waking up at midnight getting their hands stuck in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take an assessment of it as we're closing up today. Let's take an assessment of our time. Do a little practice with it. And then just ask yourself that question. How do you want to make it more intentional? Whatever it is that you're doing. You may be already doing everything perfectly. How do you want to make it more intentional? How do you want to
Sorry, Bryn said when two yogis are on Insta at 1 a.m., like someone sends you a message at 1 a.m., you're like, oh, great. And like you're about to respond, like, wait a minute. If I respond, they know I'm also on Insta at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You ever do that? You ever get a message and you're like, I'm going to wait to respond just so that they don't know what I'm doing right now. And then the next day you're like, oh, thanks for your message. So sorry. Yeah, I don't check my messages till the morning time. Oh, Krishna. Anyways, love you guys so much. Thanks for keeping us accountable. You were, I don't know, did I cut you off here? You were saying something valuable and I was just making a joke.
You're in one side of the spectrum and I'm on another side of the spectrum. Together it is perfect.
Balance it out. Awesome. Any closing words, Vira? Closing thoughts?
Grateful. Yeah. Love it. Let's bring that humor. Let's bring that into our life and let's bring intention into our life. Yeah. Let's look at ourselves and let's smile and laugh instead of beating ourselves up and being guilty and shaming ourselves. And then let's ask ourselves how we want to be more intentional. Let's ask ourselves that question because that's where we're going to feel that the greatest fulfillment in life is when our intention is on point.
Yeah. Love you guys so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're listening on one of our recorded platforms and you want to get on our live Zoom group, email us at prayerrevolution@bhakticenter.org or check us out at bhakticenter.org/online for all of our beautiful online offerings that we are doing. We love to keep in touch. All your guys' homework, if you haven't already, and I know some of you haven't, go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and actually, Vivi, I just saw that face. I know you haven't done it. And leave us a written review. Say, hey, I love you guys. You guys are great. Tell Vira how much you love him. Let him know. We love it. It helps us out. We appreciate it. Tell your friends. Join us. We got lots of cool stuff coming up at the Bhakti Center. I think, what's the date today? Oh, coming up very soon. We have an Intro to Ayurveda course that I think Vira's wife, Diana, is leading. Is Diana leading that one?
Mm-hmm.
Vira's wife, Diana, is leading an Intro to Ayurveda. If you want to know the basics of Ayurveda, healthy, clean living, they're a power team. She tells you how to eat, how to regulate your life physically. Vira tells you how to manage your time. And so we've got all kinds of cool courses coming up. Please join us. I'm doing an online kirtan training, I think starting next weekend. And so we got all kinds of cool stuff going on. bhakticenter.org/online. Check it out. bhakticenter.org/online. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Be well. Take care. Love you.
Hari, hari, hari.
You guys want to see a sleeping puppy? There's a sleeping puppy. It's right there. Yeah. Sleeping puppy.
Have a good day, Doyle.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Aditi, Trisha. Love you guys. Thank you, Trisha. Be well. Sending love to you and your whole family. You and Grace. Love you guys so much. Get any pictures of Grace and her first pony, send it over. We'd love to see. It's not too emotionally tough. Love you guys. Bye-bye. See you next time. Be in touch.